I have to be 10 toes down and I have to be committed that no matter what happens, I'm going to do the very best. Not just because of the fact that I am doing this for my family, because I'm putting my name on it. I know this transition is scary, but I'm going to tell you what's scarier. If something happens to that gig that you've put all your faith in and you wake up tomorrow and it's over and you don't have a plan, that's scary. That's scary. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Collective Trade House. I am Derek Taylor. I want to continue this series, Trading After 50. And I was given this idea by my buddy, Clinton Loomer, who is the curator for Memento Cigars. Watch his podcast. It is awesome, 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 awesome. And he said I should do a transition or talk about the transition from corporate to trading. And when he said that, I said, that's probably a good idea. And the reason why I think it's a good idea is because I know there's a lot of people over the age of 50 who in the last year or about to retire, have early involuntary retirement, losing their jobs, thinking about, okay, what do I do next? For me, I started trading when I was 52. Matter of fact, I signed up when my grandson, my oldest grandchild, was born, November 28th. And I will tell you, when I did sign up that night, when I was on my way to the hospital, I felt liberated because now I had an off ramp, and not just an off ramp, but I believed that if I learned what the chart was telling me, I was going to be successful. A lot of people are getting laid off, losing their jobs for one reason or another, and they don't have a plan because the plan that they had, that they put all their faith into an employer because they thought the employer was going to pay them what they were worth, give them the resources to take care of their family, their health care, have a nice retirement, nice 401k, and they were going to live out their years traveling the country, maybe traveling the world. Well, a lot of those people, their dreams got shattered for one reason or another. Let me tell you about my experience the last few years that I was in the car business. So I worked for a local Jag, Volvo, Porsche, Land Rover, Range Rover store. I was a salesman first, and then I left because I was in the music business also, and I got called back for a pre-owned manager's job that came available. So I was working there, and then some years later, management on the corporate side came in an office with me and my boss, and they offered me a pre-owned director's position at another store. Well, unbeknownst to me, they were just sending me there because they didn't care about me. They didn't care about my talent, nor did they care about my family or anything like that. They sent me to that store because they were selling it. Yes, they were selling it. So what that meant to me, that my value to them meant absolutely nothing. But unbeknownst to them, for the last couple of years, I was learning how to trade and became a pretty good trader. So when this new company came, I knew I wasn't their guy. I knew I wasn't going to be a permanent fixture there. I just knew it. I mean, if you're doing something for a number of years, for me, it was close to 30, you know when you know. So when the time came for me, I mean, it was low down dirty, but I don't want to get into that because that's not the point. But I told them to fire me. And you should have seen the manager's face when I told him that, because I had already been making more trading than I did a pre-owned director at this particular. So for me, it was liberating because of the fact that I had developed a skill. I had developed a skill to take care of my family, to leave generational wealth, to teach. One of my kids became a really good trader, and I'm able to pass down this skill to the next generation. I have a granddaughter coming up, and she's smarter as a whip. and I can't wait to start teaching her. My thing is, when you start this thing at 50, and I mentioned to this in the other episode when we're talking about trading after 50, when you get to a point where in your, we'll call it your steady Betty, that you are not being valued, right? That or that you could tell when they're trying to make your space uncomfortable. You start looking for things, or you feel the wind of change coming. You hear layoffs in your company, and they haven't got to you yet, but you have a feeling that it's coming. So you have that anxiety. I've had a lot of people join my platform because they either got laid off, they were about to lay off, or a lot of people in their company have been laid off and they want to be prepared just in case it happens to them. I heard on the news today that there was a company, I forgot what state it was in, but they're getting ready to lay off, their company is getting ready to lay off 61,000 people across the country. It's supposed to be announced sometime this week. So, I mean, I've had family members get offered severance packages to retire early. Everybody has had it happen to them during the economic the downturn, the recession back in 2008, 2009, and I was selling BMWs. My income got cut in half because the market was just horrible. So what do you do? What do you do? I knew one thing when I made the decision that I was going to learn how to trade. I had knew people that I had met, some 30 years before that were traders. They were very successful. I mean, they were very successful. And I thought about that a lot over the years. And then when the opportunity, I tell you how it happened. I was in my office one day, sitting at my desk. It was on a Friday afternoon. And I got up just to stretch my legs and go talk to the guys. And there was this lady walking in the showroom floor. I introduced myself. I told her who I was. I asked her, could I get her a salesperson? She said, yeah, in a minute. I'm trading right now. And I said, you're trading? She said, yeah. I said, on your phone? She said, yeah. Really? She said, yeah, I can show you how to do it. And here I am now, some almost 10 years later. But I was committed. I was committed. And there was nothing going to deter me from getting to where it was that I wanted to be. I was once told, hey, Derek, if you ever decided you were going to leave, would you give them a 2-week notice? And I said, I would give them the same notice they would give me. And they said, what? 15 minutes. There's no loyalty. Hell, Bill Belichick got fired from the New England Patriots. There is no loyalty. There's no loyalty. And what you have to do is you have to stand up and you have to make a decision, but not a normal decision. You have to make a decision that if you decide to trade or whatever it is you want to do, the effort is the same. I have to be 10 toes down and I have to be committed that no matter what happens, I'm going to do the very best, not just because of the fact that I am doing this for my family, because I'm putting my name on it. And I know this transition is scary. But I'm going to tell you what's scarier. If something happens to that gig that you've put all your faith in and you wake up tomorrow and it's over and you don't have a plan, that's scary. That's scary. You have to be like, be able to fight anywhere. You want to fight me in the phone booth? I'll fight you in the phone booth. You want to fight me in the parking lot? I'll fight you in the parking lot. You want to fight me in the alley? I'll fight you in the alley. You have to be to the point that whatever you choose, that you have to be able to get down no matter. One of the reasons why I chose trading, and one reason is I loved it from a little boy. Two, I knew that there were some heavy hitters that were on Forbes list and things like that were making a lot of money. And it wasn't just the money, it was the liberty that came with it when you were successful. I remember in the car business, you had to plan in advance to go see your kids play soccer or t-ball or whatever. I remember when I was younger in the car business, and my older kids were little kids, and I had so much anxiety when I was coaching their team because I was worried about sales that I wasn't getting, and I was concerned about what my manager was going to say and stuff like that. When my daughter calls me, because I work from home now, when my daughter calls me and says, "Hey, can you watch the girls?" No problem, unless I'm busy. unless I have appointments outside, then I can't do it. But most times we figure it out. And it ain't because I had to call a boss. That's what I'm talking about. Being able to go to recitals and soccer games and baseball games with your grandkids and not have to make up excuses why I have to go. The other thing about this transition at this age. The frustrating thing is the fact that whatever you did in your corporate job, you were really good at it. And then when you start trading, you suck and you just, oh, I can't do it. And I've said this in the other video that it's not hard, it's just new. When you started your gig some however many years ago, it was new and there was a learning curve. Same thing with this. Same thing. But you have to get in the right community. You have to have a plan. You have to have structure because there is no boss. There isn't anybody telling you that this is how it's got to be done. That's why you want to get into a program with a good educator, somebody to teach you. I know a lot of guys who are in their late 50s, early 60s, and I know they don't have enough money saved, let alone a catastrophic illness. But the one thing is, I know people who have had nothing and what I considered a short period of time turn their lives and their financial lives around forever. It's not anecdotal. You see it on social media all the time. And all I'm saying is the fact that you have been through the wars. You have been through some stuff. You have been to where you were working 14-hour days, 6 days a week. I know you have. I know guys who were in the car business and those marble floors and all those miles we put on those showroom floors. I know guys who've had back surgeries, hip replacements, knee replacements, all kinds of things. Thank God I haven't had to do that. But I do still feel the aches and pains. But you know what? I have a chiropractor. I have a massage therapist. I do yoga and I'm able to take the time and I'm on the mend. Feel great. And all I'm telling you is this is the start of your new life. The possibilities are endless. If you put your mind to, you can do it. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy because, coming out of something and learning something new is a challenge, but it ain't impossible. It ain't impossible. So I just wanted to take these few minutes to tell you that I understand about the transition from coming from corporate into your own entity, especially something like trading. But I'm telling you, you can do it. I know you can. If I could do it, you can do it. I'm Derek Taylor. This is Collective Trade House. Thank you.